in frame here. Make sure that we're live. There we go. Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks and today we are going to be playing with pan pastels. So I do have a notebook out already. I'm just going to use regular mixed media paper. And then the other thing that I have out is just a piece of deli paper, and that's so that I can lean my hand and rest it as I'm doing things, so that way you don't accidentally smudge stuff around. And then I also have a piece of just plain typing paper. The plain typing paper is going to help you mix your colors because you can simply mix them on the sheet and then lift it and pick it up and put it on there. And for tools, you want to use the brand Soft, Sofft tools. And I have a ton of them. This is what the tools look like. I just have like a whole bag of them. I really like to use the ones that look like makeup brushes. I feel like I can move really fast with them and I like the control that I have with them. So that's probably mostly what I'm going to be using for this. And as I go, I'll let you know what colors I have. I have several pan pastels. I have the landscaping set, which looks like this. And then I also have the a mixture of ones that I already had as well as ones to do like faces and stuff with. So here's another tray of them right here. And here's another tray of them right here. And then I also have a small tray that I usually put all my black and whites in. So for my black, whites, and grays, I've got this tray. So we have plenty of different colors to work with today, and we can have lots of fun with that. So for the image that I'm going to do just a simple bundle of vegetables, and I think that should be pretty easy to do. I told some friends I was going to be pan pasteling today, so that way they can learn from me. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think because these are such vibrant orangey and yellow fruits, I think the background I'm going to be doing is going to be a blue. I'm thinking I'm going to do dark blue with light blue accents, so like maybe light blue bursts. I have this really pretty light blue, and it's called Turquoise Light. And then I also have this blue here, which I think would be gorgeous. And this is Ultramarine Blue Shade. So I'm going to be using those. I'm probably going to put down the blue shade first, and then I'll go back with the turquoise and put in little accents for it. So to start, you don't need much. It doesn't take very much to get the pigment on. And then I like to rub little circles. And you can use a bigger tool if you need to. Like I said, I just prefer this tool because, you know, after putting on makeup for years, it just feels natural. So I'm just going to start with this. I'm going to get right up into the corner crease here. Now, one thing you want to be careful with pan pastels is you want to make sure you're not around anything wet. If you get saliva or anything like that on it, it's going to mess up your piece and you're not going to be able to get that out. So make sure that wherever you're working is a dry surface where you're not going to have any spills, any drops of water, anything like that. So I'm just putting this along the table line. Like that. I'm going to be a little careful going along the edge of this because because I don't want to get on the lines, because then you're going to start getting weird color mixes if you're not careful. So I'm just going to be really careful and mindful of what I'm doing and how thick the stroke is whenever you go to put it down. Just like that. And if you need to, you can always do a second layer of it. That's not going to hurt anything. You can blow on it, just like I said, be real careful because you don't want to get the saliva in there. Go into this little tiny crevice here. That's also kind of the nice thing about using the makeup looking brush ones of the soft tools, SOFFT, is you're able to get right on in where you need it to be. Hey Mindy, how you doing? Hi. Oh, you can't stay? That's okay. I appreciate you popping in to say hello. It's good to see you. I'm just going to get into these little tiny edges here with the blue. And there's a little bit of blue that needs to happen right there too. Like that. Good, have to get my workout in. I'll see if you're still on when I'm done. Okay, yeah, sure. I plan to stay on about at least maybe almost 2 hours. That's what I've been doing regularly. So yeah, pop on and see if I'm still here. If so, let me know whenever you come back because I want to show you I did some more work in one of your journals. Because I know you weren't here the other day, so I wanted you to see my Zen tangles I did. There we go, just around the edges like that. Just nice and light circles. And this will make a lovely background. That's good. You don't want to work your poor arms off. All right, Mindy, you have a good workout. There we go. So now that we've got this dark blue in, I want to put in some of this light blue. Now the nice thing about this is you can just literally swipe it over and it just grabs the color. So you don't really have to worry about your colors mixing or anything like that. It should be fine. So I'm going to do a burst up here and kind of work that in. May take a couple of layers for it to really show. But I think a burst would be fun. And we can do a couple of little bursts. Like maybe one right here. Just to give it some interest. And then we can do the same thing over here if we wanted. Something like that, and do another burst right here. No, you didn't get the notification again. I'm sorry, Eva. You know, it's been doing that to me too lately, so I don't think it's just your phone. I think YouTube's just being rude. Of course, I'll say that and then it'll work fine. But earlier I was trying to watch Beth Schuler, and every time that I tried to watch it, it just kept clocking. So finally I gave up and was like, well, I'll just stream myself then. Not sure what was happening, but how's your night going? Or I guess it's morning for you. Well, I've only been streaming for about, I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes or something, so you're not too late for anything. I literally just started. Hi, Ronan, do you need something?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
What are you up to?
Nothing. Hey, who's hungry?
Huh?
Who's hungry of this video already?
There are people here already. Don't sit in my lap, please, because I'm trying.
No, I'm saying that they're hungry because of the food.
Oh, okay, I see. Yes, all the food.
Can I have that?
No, you may not. Not these.
Why?
Because look, you're already getting it all over yourself, honey. There you go. One, go watch your movie. Yeah, you can have a key. That's fine.
And a big key?
No,
Why?
because that's for me. Go on.
I don't have a big key.
Ronan, go please. You don't need all my keys. I've got a little thing of craft keys here, and he wants all my keys. Let's see here. So I'm going to put these two colors back, and then I'm going to do the other part of the background, which is this brown. What's going to be brown? Just because I think that'll look nice. So give me just 1 second to grab another color. That's one of the only bad things about using these is you have to kind of pop your cases back on every time you use them, so that way the stuff doesn't get everywhere. Because pan pastels are kind of messy. They're nice though. Let's see here. So I'm going to use a brown of some sort. And I think I want a lighter brown for this. So let's use, what's this color? This is burnt sienna shade. I think that should work. So something that does happen with pan pastels is after a while when you use them, they do get kind of crumbly, which is one of the reasons why I don't understand why they're so expensive. They are like oil pastels. So basically, it's if you took an oil pastel, ground it, and then smushed it all together and compacted it, you get yourself a pan pastel. So it's very similar. Um, it just is supposed to be more compact, but like I said, you can get this problem where it starts getting kind of dusty. So you want to be really careful with it, especially not to accidentally blow it to where it goes everywhere. Because that could be a problem. I'm going to put down this little sheet here, And this is gonna help me not rub stuff everywhere while I'm trying to get it in. Let's see, I'm gonna bombard you with questions. Do they rub easily on your artwork? Yes. And I will say they're not supposed to look like this. Usually they look like this. But if you use them long enough, or if one somehow gets shaken, like let's say you drop one, you're going to end up with crumbles like this. And once it starts crumbling, it does not go back. And I think it's always interesting that other artists don't really talk about the crumbly part. But I know everybody gets the crumbles because just wiping a little bit on there, you get little bits, particles of dust. So you got to be careful with them. But they do rub on really smoothly. Now, you definitely need a fixative with this, which I have an fixative right here. Let me grab it. This is the one that I use. It's called the workable fixative. And it's supposed to protect and stop smudging. I will say even after spraying this, you will get a little bit of rub off, um, but not a whole lot. Like it's nothing terrible once you get it all on there. Um, but at least in my experience, there's still movement with it. Now, I haven't really experimented with other fixatives. Like it's possible that some work better than others with it. Um, but with my experience, it does move a little. And even though this looks like a makeup brush, this is actually a special tool called a soft, SOFFT tool. Um, yes, it's almost like makeup. It's very similar. And some people just use it for backgrounds. Some people will do a whole picture with it. What I like to do is I'll do most of the picture and then I'll go back over it with colored pencil afterwards. And before I put the colored pencil on, you have to spray it with a fixative. Otherwise, you're going to be moving stuff around. So it's kind of a cheeky medium. It does what it wants. But it is a nice tool. I myself, I have pastels and I don't mind using them, but I don't like the oily feel that you get with some pastels. This takes all of that away because I'm not touching it with my hands. So I don't mind that. Like I would much rather work with dusty than I would with waxy. Or I mean not waxy, oily. I have those kind of pastels, but I don't use them very often. That's why I like my Neo colors. My Neo colors are not oily like that. Yeah, they do get kind of messy. And I would recommend if you do buy these, buy them secondhand. Sometimes you can find them on like Facebook Marketplace, or I got a bunch of mine on eBay one time. You can buy them like that. Just beware if you're talking about getting it from a regular person, chances are it's going to go through shipping and then it's going to turn into a powder. Because that's what happened to mine. I don't know if it. Oh, your message disappeared. There we go. These are really versatile though. Like I know people use them for all kinds of different things. I know Dee Dee Willingham will use them for pet portraits, for example, as like a base. Some people will do that whenever they're doing like portraits. Like pan pastels would be wonderful for skin tone and stuff, especially if you're like contouring the colors. But look, my finger was right there for a minute and the oils from my finger are there. So that little fingerprint's going to be there forever. So You can have as clean of hands as you want, but pan pastel is not forgiving in that way. But people make amazing art with it. Pastels I've never used. I don't know if this much is. Yeah, I would not use pan pastels on ATC cards just because, like I said, I've never gotten them to perfectly affix. But I do think they're a lot of fun, and I do like the look of them. You can use regular oil pastels on your ATCs. Just make sure that you use your fixative and you should be fine. But yeah, unless you find an affixative that really, really works, I wouldn't do that because whenever you go to send them in the mail, chances are some of it might smudge. And I do think that I'm rather novice at using them too. So part of it could be user error. I've only had my pan pastel since my birthday, which is March. So it's not like I've played with them a whole lot, but I have done quite a bit of experimenting with them in my various sketchbooks that I have. Of course, none of them are next to me right now to where I can show you. But I have made quite a few things with them, even though I've had them for a short amount of time. And I think part of the reason I got them is because, everybody always talks about how amazing they are, which they are amazing, don't get me wrong, they're really cool. But for the price, they are very messy. I'm going to use this color next. This color is Raw Sienna. And you can find pan pastels on Amazon. You can find them at the Blick store. You can pretty much find them anywhere. Like, they're not hard to find. By anywhere, I mean anywhere at an art store. Now, you probably will not find it at Hobby Lobby or something like that. Um, but online retailers do carry them. And pen pastels have been around for a long time. I remember before I bought them, I was researching them quite a bit, and I found videos that were like 10 years old. So they've been around a while. People have tried them and tested them. It's just kind of up to you what you like. But see what I mean? Whenever I am gently rubbing over this, that gentle rubbing is causing just a fine layer of dust. I see I went to a few art stores. Oh, that's cool that you went to a few different art stores. Yeah, yeah, that price is not something to kid around about. That's why I wanted to make sure that I was going to use them because I was like, if I'm spending that kind of money. It was birthday money though, so I felt like it was okay. I like a bit of a splurge on my birthday. And there we go, and then we'll use, I think I'm going to put a tan, a lighter tan on top of that. Or maybe I'll do tan on the sides. I'll definitely go over this with colored pencil. Because I'm trying not to put too much emphasis on this board that these things are sitting on, but I also don't want them to accidentally fade into the background. Have you tried out your eye crowns yet? How do you like them? We don't have many art stores. I do too. I'll find exactly. Yep, it's my birth month. That's right. We don't celebrate just the day, it's the whole month. Gotta have fun with it, especially as we're all getting older. Might as well have some fun with it. Okay, and I washed my hands before I came on here, and look, here's another little fingerprint that's right here. It's right in the middle, of course. I'm like, should I just put fingerprints all around it? But no, it'll be fine. I don't know why it does that. It's just really, it gets oil contaminated. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna start with that red chili pepper. Let me see if I'm pretty sure I have a red in here. Keeks, they're on my desk. I've opened them, but oh my god, no, I've not had any time. Hey, why don't you, oh, fish-spired ones? Aw, that'd be cute. Why don't you pull them out right now? While you're watching me, you could play with them. I do that a lot when I watch other people's streams. If I'm not working, then I'm working on an art piece. Trying to find my reds. Here we go. So this red is called permanent red. I'm going to use that for this little chili pepper here. Aw, well, even though you're in bed, we can still dream that we're doing the art stuff. That sounds nice and cozy, though. Okay, so I'm just being careful to try not to go out the lines. There we go. That's a lot of pigment right there. I'm going to rub that in a little bit more. And I'll go over here. Been working on some other art projects lately too. I joined a journaling swap. So in the journal swap, you have to make what are called signatures, which is what goes inside of a book. Like, for example, this is the signature I made. So I got to make 4 of these. And I'm doing mine kind of mystic themed. So it's like got little pockets in it. And then I made a different type of pocket on this page. This page is a little messy, but I kind of did that on purpose because people are supposed to work on top of your work with it, so I think that's fine. And then this is the other page. So I gotta make 4 of those though. So I've been doing that in between stuff. Let's see here. We also have a red apple, but the whole apple is not red. I didn't film it, but what I could do is tomorrow if I get on, I can do that. But I want to make sure that I make some time for my son and I to like go out and do something tomorrow. So I'm not entirely certain that I'll be on or not. It depends. I think I'm going to make this a partially red apple and I'm going to put some yellow in it. So I think that looks pretty cool. So let's get some yellow. And the yellow I'm going to use is called Hansa yellow. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to smear off some of this on this towel. There we go. Nice and yellow. And then what you'll notice is as you get closer to the red, it'll mix a little bit. So you can be a little mindful of that. And if I need to, I can add a little bit more yellow. And do something like that. I think that looks pretty good for an apple color. So I'm going to put that one away, and then I'm going to do my carrot orange. So this is a carrot right here. And this orange is just called orange. It doesn't have a fancy name like the others. I had to get that orange at the Blick store because I couldn't buy it online at the time they were out. I was like, I really want an orange that I don't have to mix. You get all these sets and none of them have orange in them. That's how they get you. They do blend really nicely. I like it a lot. It kind of makes it have like a painterly effect, like the way it blends. I am a fan of that. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like as long as you're paying attention to what colors touch, like it's really hard to mess up the color part because they're always really vibrant, they're always super pigmented. Um, and you can tone them down using other colors. Basically the same color wheel rules that you would use with paint, you can use with these guys. So there's a carrot for us. And then I kind of want to do this pepper yellow. I'm going to do a little bit of a darker yellow. I'm going to use this one, which is called primary yellow. Even though you probably can't tell, it is actually a darker shade of yellow than that canary yellow was. So I'm going to use that. And really what I'm doing here is I'm basing in all my colors. That's what I'm going to use the pan pastels for, is basing. And then I'm going to go in with a colored pencil and fix anything up that needs it. Because the colored pencil is, I think, where it's going to shine. But it's really fun to base with these. Go like that. And I kind of like that some of that red got in there because it kind of gave it a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and get my greens out now because we need them. Let's see. I might keep out a yellow. I think I'm going to keep out this. It's called Dairy Light Yellow shade. It's kind of a weird yellow. I'm going to keep that out so I can mix it with a green. And for that first pepper, I'm going to use kind of a yellowy green. This one is called Bright Yellow Green Shade. And I think I'm going to try mixing those together on a piece of paper and see what they look like. So I'm going to use some of this. And you can just use typing paper. Then I'm going to use some of this. Just now, huh? It's a little late to the party. Okay. I think I'm going to put down this yellow first, and then I'm going to put down the green. And I think that should do fine. This is just a real ochre yellow. I like ochre yellow though. I especially like it if it's in a paint. I think paints that are ochre yellow are really pretty with like reds and teals. Just like that. And now we're going to put green over it. Just to kind of darken it up a little bit in there. And this can also kind of help contour it a bit too. Because you know, some peppers are not fully green. Some of them have a bit of extra going on, and I think that's what I'm going for here. Something like that's pretty cool. I like how it has the yellow underneath because it kind of looks like it's dipped into me. See a little bit of a hard edge right there that I'm going to brush away. Okay, and then for that one up there, let's do some of the same green in these two stems up here. That way we're keeping some of the same colors around. Like that. I really like this yellowy green. Okay, now we're going to get a darker green. So I think for that, I'm going to use this green here. And this green is called blue-green shade. And I think that should go well with our other pepper. How's the weather where you are? It's raining here. It's been kind of stormy all day. It's cold here. Yeah, our temperatures dipped really big too. Like we were in the 80s most of the week last week. And then overnight, it just all went away. Weather was like, nope, we're here. Okay, there's that green there. That green here. All right. So that looks good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray that with a fixative here in a minute. And then I will grab my colored pencils. Hang tight and I will be right back. I'm just going to spray that with a fixative outside because you don't want to spray that stuff in your house. It's kind of toxic and it smells terrible. So I would definitely not recommend that. But I'm gonna go spray this and I'll be right back because you cannot work on top of it until you spray it. All right, I am back. Hello again. So it has been sprayed with a fixative. So I'm just letting it dry for a second. And while that's drying, I'm just going to grab my colored pencils.
Are you using spray cans to color this time?
No, I'm not using spray paint, sweetheart. That was a fixative. So a fixative makes stuff not move.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's not spray paint. All right, I am back, so I'm going to take this away now. And then from here, I'm going to use my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils because I specifically bought these to work over pan pastels. Um, the Polychromos are actually an oil-based colored pencil. So if you use wax over it, it still will work, but not as well. Because I mean, I've tried it with wax before, it just feels really rough whenever you use wax over it. I'm also going to try to show you if I rub on this right now, nothing is coming up, which means that I sprayed it pretty good. But look, a little tiny bit of that light color just came up. Um, oops, I don't know that the camera's focusing, but a little tiny bit did come up. So you want to still make sure that you're being careful. And I am going to try really hard not to set my palm down on the picture. I have a hard time with that. um, so I'm gonna work on the fruits, and I think I'm gonna work on this guy first. So I'm gonna take like a lighter color, and I'm just gonna kind of edge around here and see how it's gonna work. Because this is the first time that I've actually used these for the purpose in which I bought them for. I think I actually want a yellow. Yellow might work better. And if they end up not working, I'm gonna be mad because that's why I bought them. There we go, that's working a little bit. I can see the line. And it does feel smooth going over it, so I'm not noticing any problems there, which is good. And this yellow is just gonna add a little bit of a highlight to it. So that way it looks more like a natural pepper. Could also try using a little bit of white to see if we can get a little bit of a shine on there. And I'm imagining that the light's coming from the top somewhere. So I'm putting that shine at the tops, kind of where the rounded parts are. So it makes a little bit more sense. And right here, since we can see that, something kind of like that. And then I'm going to lean into this orange that's here. And actually, let's do this dark stem first. Kind of weirdly, the the polychromoses don't come with a dark green, which I think is really weird. So I'm gonna commit a sin and use black instead. A lot of artists do not believe in using black because you can make darker colors without using black, and black just makes things look slightly unnatural. But when you're in need, you're in need. So I say if you got it, use it. Because the only person really can judge it as yourself. So if you want to be hard on yourself and limit yourself, that's one thing, but don't just not use something because somebody told you not to. Break the rules a little bit. I think that's working fine. It's kind of blending in with the green a little bit. Like that. I think that fruit looks pretty nice. Well, I guess that's a vegetable, but I like that it has the shine and everything. So I'm gonna get the orange next. And I'm gonna slightly lean into the orange over here too. And see, because I put that affixative on there, it's not lifting. Um, so I'm not having any problems sliding the colored pencil in there, and it's keeping to the colors pretty well. So I'm not seeing anything standing out to me that's like terrible or anything like that. Another color I could use is a little bit of brown. Like maybe we could put like a little brown spot on it. Make it look like it's got like a little bit of a bruise here. And then I can take my finger and rub it a little bit. But orange, or I mean brown, is just a dark orange. So you can keep that in mind when you're coloring. So if you have oranges, the dark color you want to go with is brown. And there we go. And I'm going to use this brown just a little bit darker up here so that we can get this stem going. That looks good. And then I'm going to come back in with my white and give it another highlight. Highlights are going to be sticking to the top of where the round surface is. You can also go a little bit over the bruise to tone it down a bit if I want. just kind of is going to knock things back a little bit. Put a little bit of yellow back in that part. Okay, and then I've got my apple, which I'm definitely going to highlight here a little bit with my yellow. That looks good. And then we need to add that brown stem in there. Mm. We need kind of like a true red to go over top of this a little bit, just to kind of smooth it out a little. Fill in any tiny gaps that we didn't get to. Because when you're being careful with your soft tool, it's entirely possible that you may have missed some little pieces, which is fine. And then on this, really? Oh, good, good. I was worried that maybe you couldn't see it as detailed as what I'm seeing it, so I'm glad. Yeah, this white works excellent over this. I'm kind of shocked. Sometimes whites are a little bit hard to find a good version of. You just never know. It's going to do a little shine on the edges here. That kind of gives us what we're looking for. So let's move on to the carrot. So for the carrot, I'm going to use not just an orange, I'm going to use a red. The carrot to kind of bring some of the color in here. And then I'll go over it with an orange. And once I'm done with this picture, because I don't think that'll be too terribly long at the rate I'm going, I would love to test out some of my pan pastels for you if you wanted to see how they mix. Oh, Dee Dee, hi! How are you? Nothing beats Prismacolor white. Yes. And I do have some Prismacolor white. I was actually just trying out these because they're oil-based on top of it. Yeah, I've been playing with my pan pastels. I got the whole background and all my fruits done with it. Thank you so much for stopping by. That makes me super excited. So Aoife, you know how I'm always saying that I get all these cool ideas from Dee Dee? This is the Dee Dee I'm talking about. Dee Dee Willingham. She's amazing. I like to talk you up a lot, Dee Dee. There we go. Just get in a little bit of shadow there. I do. There we go, that looks good. And then I'm gonna add some orange in there to blend that over top the pan pastel. And that should give us a good range of color there. Think that looks good. And then carrots, I don't know that a carrot really needs white, but we might give it just a tiny bit of a shine. Maybe this is a really well washed carrot. Something like that. Because my light's coming from above, so I want to make sure that it's hitting everything. And then we've got this guy. So for this guy, what I think I'll do is I have this really cool green. What kind of green is this? This is called earth green yellow. I like this green. So I'm going to use that to kind of darken some of our areas up a little bit so we can start contouring a little bit. Just like that. And I'm going to put a little crease here because a lot of these peppers will have like weird creases in them. And I just think it makes it look more like a real pepper, if I'm honest. And while I wouldn't say that I'm great at realism, I do like to try. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow down there because this is one of those peppers that's got a bit of spice to it. So it's going to have a little bit of yellow. That scared me. I just got a text message. So I like almost jumped out of my skin. I was like, "Ooh." I'm so like concentrated right now. Put a little yellow right in here. There we go. And we can give it a bit of shine. So this has like little round guys right here and here. So that's going to want to shine. And if my light's up here, this is going to want to shine a little bit. Like that. So we've got our little pepper there. Now we can do this pepper. For this pepper, I'm going to give it a bit of a shade. Like that. Oh, great. You're going to love her channel. Dee Dee, she streams every Monday and Wednesday. Go back and watch her live from today. You'd really enjoy it. Like, I feel like I've learned so much from her channel over the years. But yeah, she is great. And she also does a lot of collage too. Um, watching her videos actually taught me how to collage and made me realize that I enjoy it so much. So yeah, definitely go follow Dee Dee. Ooh, you'll want to also watch, she has a video on this bee journal that she made, and it is gorge. You gotta watch it. There we go, like that. And I think I'm gonna add just a touch of white to these stems a little bit, because I would imagine that they would have maybe a little bit of grit shine to it. I think that looks good. We need some shading, because it doesn't do us any good to make these things look like they're supposed to if there's no shadows happening. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You love and adore bees? Well, then you're gonna like the bee's knees. The bee's knees is a cut and collage book I think it's from Collage Soup. Is that right, Dee Dee? And it has all kinds of really cool bee stuff in it. I wish I know where I set mine at. After I made all those postcards, I cleaned up and now I have scraps of it. Like, see, this scrap is from it, but I'm not sure what exactly I did with the rest of the book. I don't know how I can lose a whole darn book like that, but it happens. If it's not sitting right in front of me, I don't know where it is. Yes, collage soup. Let's see here. I kind of make that go out a little bit. Aw. I like to, whenever you're at swimming pools, there's always those big giant bumblebees that kind of, I think they like the water. So what I like to do is I like to take a little bottle cap and I'll put the little water like right next to the bee. And usually the bee will come up and like drink from it. It's really cute because they have little tongues. And then I just stare at one and wonder at this beautiful insect. I'm a bee fan. Let me see if I can blend that out a little bit. I'm not sure that the shadows are quite right there. I'm still practicing on shadows. Shadows are not something that was really taught to me because I'm a self-taught artist. So I just always have to kind of like eyeball it a little bit. I try though. And that's all you can do is try your best. Anything else that has all the legs? No. Aw, give them a try. I love spiders. I used to be terrified of them, like wouldn't be able to be in the same room with them. I'd be like frozen. And that was my COVID hobby, was to get over my fear of spiders. And now I love them a lot. What you got to do is anything you really hate or anything that creeps you out, join Reddit and find a subreddit about it because you will find people that are absolutely in love with whatever it is that you hate. And with so much positivity, it's really, really hard to still hate whatever that thing is. Because, you know, very slowly I started looking at those insects a lot differently. And let me tell you, it was a slow process because I was really terrified of them. But with so many positive people and then all the cool facts that people say about them, I just loved them. I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape on this. And then after that, I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'll show you some more color mixing with the pan pastels. That way you can see how they layer a little bit better. So let me pull this off so we can see what we're working with here. And what I would recommend is anytime you use these in a journal, I would still make sure that you put a little piece of deli sheet in between your pages. That way, just in case the affixative didn't quite work, you're not smearing it everywhere because, you don't want to put all that hard work in. Okay. All right, Eva. That was a big no from her. What do you think? How do you like it? I think this turned out pretty cool. Let me get my pastels back out again. And then what we'll do is there anything on the other page? Yes, there is. So I'm gonna flip the page. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. I really appreciate that. So you've seen me kind of demo how to use them like as a background, but you mentioned that you wanted to know how to blend them. Um, so most people will take a piece of like typing paper and blend on there. Um, or you can have with a blending tool. So out of my soft tools here, there's this one big sponge thing, this right here, and you're supposed to use it kind of like a palette, and you can like blend on top of that too. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. But what we'll do is we'll kind of do like a rainbow effect and kind of go into it. Those are the best for blending. I believe it. Let's see here. So I'm going to start with just a primary red, and I'll make it kind of big so that you can kind of see. But these really are quite easy to blend. So you can just start with any of the colors. I know, they need to listen to you and make a bigger one. I bet they'd make a killing off of them if they did. Everybody in your group would buy one. And then let's say we wanted to do a little bit of a darker red. Just go right over top of it and it just blends. That color might be a little too close to it. Let's do a lighter color. We'll do this orange. Yeah, there we go. It just mixes right in there. You don't have to push as hard as I'm pushing. I'm a heavy-handed person. I'm working on it. But right in here, you can see where the colors are together, and look at how pretty that is together. It's so pretty. And then we'll take the yellow. We'll just make ourselves a cute little rainbow. And that'll kind of help us see how the colors are. And it's okay that this happens. It literally will wipe away. It doesn't hurt the color at all. Let's see here. So then we're gonna go in here with this yellow, and this yellow is just plain primary yellow. So we've got that. Then we can run into the greens. This green is called yellow green, but it's like the most green that I have. So I'm going to use that one. Let's wipe off some of this excess. There we go. See, it mixes really, really well in there. And then after I make this kind of rainbow effect with them, what I'll do is I'll go through and actually mix a couple colors. Like we can mix like yellow and red to make orange. We can do blue and yellow to make our own green. Like it's just like paint, but not. Oops, I forgot to put that yellow back where it belongs. Here's this really pretty blue. This blue is ultramarine blue. And it mixes in there and makes a really beautiful blue-green. Yeah, I agree. They are pretty expensive. I wonder, Dee Dee, do you sometimes get this problem though? Like whenever you're rubbing on them, how they get dusty? That's my only gripe about them is they're dusty. I was a little upset because I bought all of these different colors, and then when I got them in the mail, some of them were a little squished. like, let me show you this purple. So I have this purple. Do I have a what? Oh, a tool in the stick. I do have a tool in the stick. But look at what happened in the mail. One of them just kind of turned into a crumbly mess. Makes me sad. Still works just fine though. But yeah, I do have the little tools on a stick. I just have better control with this guy, which is what I've been using. Use that, it'll be less crumbly. Okay, I can do that. In fact, I can get it out. There's lots of different tips to them. And the tool Dee Dee is talking about is kind of like this. There's different tips though. There's that tip. There's like a square tip. The square tip looks like this. And then there's a triangle tip. Yeah, that crumble one broke in shipping whenever it got to me. But because I ended up buying it secondhand, because in the pictures, like whenever I bought it, they were fine looking, and then it got shipped to me, and a couple of them were crumbled. But I got such a good deal on them because I got them on eBay instead of paying full price for them that oh, hi Mindy, how are you? Sweaty but back. Okay. um, the pointy one is the one that you use the most. Let me see if I have the proper tip for that tool. Ah, here we go. It's this one. So we'll do some color mixing with that so you can see that you don't really have to work too hard to mix them. Mindy, this is my friend Dee Dee I tell you about whenever I was talking about like collage and stuff when we met in person. Dee Dee's the cool collage lady. She also paints and does a whole bunch of stuff. She's very artistic and gifted. It wears down and it will flip it over. Okay. Gently tap, tap. And then I can use the blue. And this will mix into a green. Voila. Yeah, I would highly recommend Mindy looking up her channel. She streams on Mondays and Wednesdays. So that's how easy it is to mix them. Let's mix something else here. Do red and yellow so that you can see a nice orange that you can mix in there. And like I said, it's okay if some of the colors mix because you will get the true color out of it still. It doesn't really hurt them. And for what I do, I just kind of wipe it off with a baby cloth. There we go. See, it makes a nice orange. So you can pretty much, if you work at it really hard, you can mix what colors you need. You don't need to buy the full spectrum of colors. In fact, they actually have one that comes with a red, a blue, a primary yellow, and then I think it has a black and a white in it. That way you can mix your own colors. So there's definitely a lot of different ones that you can get. And then one other thing that I wanted to show you is I have been working in my homemade journals. So yesterday when I streamed, I Zentangled in this one, but I've added to it. So I ended up adding some Kuretake dots. So what I did is for my Kuretakes, I ended up getting these fine liner applicators because Janet M. Young talked me into it when she said that hers was much easier to pull now. So I ended up getting those, and I was able to make these cute little gold dots all over everything. And then I put a fish on top of my others and tangles. So I've been having a lot of fun in this little journal. Oh, you want to see the still life, Mindy? Okay. I just finished with that one, so let me go ahead and turn it back over. Which side is it on? Here it is. Here we go. So I think it turned out pretty good and I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I'm going to keep practicing with them because I've seen people do some crazy realistic stuff with pan pastels. Like when I was researching them, I was like, wow, because people make so many interesting things with them and there's so many different ways that you can use them, whether it's, like Dee Dee's pet portraits or using them for faces. Some people use them on insects. Like it's so many cool things. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to finish with that so quick. I'm actually kind of surprised that I finished so quick. But that's okay. It just means that I can get off earlier and then spend more time with my son because his dad's not home right now, so it gets to be a mommy and a boy type day, which is going to be exciting. Um, is there anything else that you guys wanted to see with the pan pastels before I go? Aw, thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Yes, of course. Bye, Dee Dee. Thank you. Mindy, Efo, is there anything else that you wanted to see before I go? Just. Aw, awesome. Wonderful. I'm so glad. We have a really great community here on YouTube, and I really adore the ladies that stream and stuff that I share. So, oh, well, Mindy, I just did this and then I did some of the color mixy practice on it just so that you could see how the different colors mix. So I didn't know if there was any other weird things that we could try with them. But yeah. Oh, look, since I didn't put a fixative on it, it's already transferring to the other paper. That's funny. I can see it already. All right. Well, with that, I think I'll actually go ahead and go for the night. And I'm going to go spend some time with my son. I will be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will probably be working on these signatures, which is which I showed earlier, but I'm making 4 of these for a swap. So this one's kind of my prototype, and then I'll probably be working on that tomorrow. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oops, I just dropped it.